Hey guys, so I've been playing Final Fantasy EverCrisis for the last few weeks, and I've just managed to clear the Tower of Cetra floor 50 on my free-to-play account. So I used a bit of a different build with a triple kind of DPS with a hybrid healing and hybrid defense breaking Aerith and Zac, respectively. So there's a few ways you can go about this boss fight, but the real keys to it are making sure you time the elemental explosions correctly on the Iron Giant in Wave 3, because that can take away the buffs. And sorry I haven't posted a video for a while, I just haven't had the ability to this year with work and my living situation. But anyway, we'll get right into sort of having a look at the bosses and the team I used, and then going on from there. So the Iron Giant on floor 30 and 50 is definitely one of the hardest enemies in the game, with it resisting all elements. So non-elemental damage is the most effective against it. And annoyingly, it grants itself massive attack up buffs with a bravery ability. It has two main attacks, which are Helm Splitter, which is a high damage single target ability, and then Grand Sword, which is an AoE attack that will essentially wipe your whole team if you don't debuff him. In terms of the elementals, if you get them to red health, which is about a third left, they will explode and do some massive damage, as well as taking all the buffs of its allies away, which is what I essentially use to get rid of the attack up buffs on the Iron Giant. So essentially you need to time blowing up the elementals with the Iron Giant's buffs to make the fight easier. If you have the leather gloves or Barrett's physical attack down weapon, Tifa and Barrett are really good to debuff him as well, but you can do it without those two. Let's get into the run. Okay, starting at wave 1, you have one of the elementals and the two dogs. What I would do is try to take out the right dog first, just given that he's electric weak, Cloud can basically just one-shot it, as you see there. And then I usually work my way onto the second dog, just because it can actually do quite a lot of damage, which is a little bit annoying, because you'll see it grants itself attack up. So I generally like to get rid of it pretty quick. And then the red elemental will actually self-buff itself once you take the two dogs out, which is a bit annoying, but I found it easier to kind of heal off the damage from the elemental rather than the dog. So you'll see just about to take out the second guard hound there. I can't remember. Oh, okay, it looks like this one I kept both alive, and then I'll just take out the dog with the elemental explosion. So there you go, I already forgot what I did. But basically, all you really care about in the first two waves is building up the summons. The key to this run is being able to use the summon abilities in Hellfire and Diamond Dust on the elementals at the end. I'm sure you could probably use the original versions of Ifrit and Shiva's summons as well. I think that'd be fine, honestly, as long as you do enough damage to both elementals. On to the second wave now, so you got two soldiers and then the blue elemental. What I like to do is get the two soldiers basically down to pretty low health so that they're just above their kind of when the health bar turns red. If you take one of the soldiers out and the other one stays alive, it'll give itself a huge self buff, and then he can really start doing damage to your team. So you'll see there I got one of the soldiers to about a third of its health left, and then I move on and start targeting the one on the right. And the whole time I've been controlling Aerith. Now, in this battle, Aerith gets a health buff with Curaga with the fairy tales, so she's super good. You could probably sub in Matt with the prime number, his healing sword, in place of Aerith, but I just found Aerith really good for the extra magic damage and for the defense down skill with her umbrella. Honestly, Seal Evil might be a better ability for her during this run, just to give you a bit of extra DPS, but Healing Wind's also just fine. So yeah, you'll see, look at the two soldiers, they've given themselves 5 stacks of magic up, which is a bit brutal. But you can heal it off pretty easily. So now that I've got those two weakened, I've moved on to the blue elemental there. And you'll see I have all 3 of my summon abilities / limit breaks charged, which is exactly where you want to be coming into the last wave. Now coming into the last wave, I want Aerith to have at least 4 stacks of her ATB, her attack bar. And that's so that I can give defense down to one of the elementals to make sure I can take it out nice and early. Okay, so there we go. Aerith's got a full bar and we've got all 3 summons ready to go. You've got to be really quick on this wave. So I like to target the blue one first. And I accidentally clicked Ruinra there. I should have clicked Night Bloom, her defense down skill. But you'll see I only use Cloud's summon ability here, and that's because I only want to take one of the elementals out. Doesn't matter which one you take out first, the blue or the red, but you've got to get one of them to explode to take away the Iron Giant's buff. So you'll see the Iron Giant just buffed itself there. I need to get rid of that, or this Helm Splitter is going to take out one of my members. So we've just got that blue elemental down to red health. And you'll see, once it explodes here, we'll get rid of the buffs on the Iron Giant. Now I'm pretty sure my game crashed here, so I'll be right back in a second. There's been some sort of issue with the elementals causing game crashes when they explode. Alright, so red elemental is like fairly low here. And I'll survive this Helm Splitter because I got rid of the buffs. Luckily he targeted Zac, who has a lot of health, and I'm going to heal him up too. But then you'll see he buffs himself up again with physical attack. So then the red elemental, time to explode him. And this is where it crashes, so I'll be right back. Okay, back to the run after that crash. So the red elemental blows up and takes away his buff again. And this is where he does the AoE attack, Grand Sword. Now this will just wipe your whole team if you don't get rid of that buff. So you've got to blow up the elemental or use a physical attack down weapon. There's really no other way to survive this. Unless you have some sort of crazy HP build. So you see that it's done about 3.5k to all my team. And then Aerith with the healing buff in this fight just absolutely heals that all off. I'll do one more heal here, and then really now it's just DPS time. You've really got to just send it. Even though he's doing big damage, you really need to start racking up the damage before he does a final buff again. So I'm just trying to switch to defense stance every time he goes for a big swing to make sure I survive, and then it's always straight back to attack stance. And then just healing with Aerith as needed. And then Cloud and Zac will slowly do their damage. It's really important you bring your X Sigil breaks for this phase, because he'll buff himself into another Grand Sword, which will just take out your whole team once again if you don't break him here. And we get the break just before he does another AoE attack, and now it's just time to do as much damage as possible. It's highly likely that one of your team members will die during this phase, just because he's so buffed and his attacks are so strong, and you need to just focus on the DPS in this phase. Cross Slash or some other non-elemental ability would be really strong in this part of the fight, but you kind of need Diamond Dust and Hellfire to take out those elementals. So someone will die here. He's got an attack up buff with Helm Splitter. I think he killed Cloud from memory. Yep, there goes my Cloud, 8,000 damage. So basically I was just praying that Zac and Aerith got the job done here. And as you can see, we're gonna get there. Spoiler alert. Boom. And that's tower done. So Iron Giant isn't as scary as you think if you time those elemental explosions correctly. So that's really the key to finishing this fight. Alright, I'll go and show my team now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this was essentially the team I was using. There might be a few slight changes from other missions, but I've got Zac, Cloud and Aerith, and all of them are trying to do a bit of damage, with Zac being a defense break support and Aerith also being a hybrid healer. So I've got Zac here with a pretty highly upgraded Zweihander just from luck. So it really helps with his physical attack, but this is a great weapon worth upgrading if you have him. And then I've got the Cutlass as his sub weapon, mainly for its physical defense break ability as well. His materia is nothing really special, but this Thundara Blow is pretty nice. And then I've just got Hellfire, which is the upgraded version of Ifrit's ability, which is fully maxed, so that's that's pretty broken, not gonna lie. Honestly, like the more maxed you can get the summons, the easier this fight will be, just because you can take out those elementals easier. Secondly, I've got Cloud. I pulled all the way for his Murasame drip, just because it looks sick, and it's also really good. He was just using the Murasame, which is actually really helpful to take out the little dogs in the first few rounds, which are weak to lightning. But then after that, the sub-weapon I actually had equipped on him at the time was the Apocalypse. This one here, which has a non-elemental high damaging ability essentially. So you'll see it max, it's 940. Mine's at 500% physical non-elemental damage for now, which is pretty good too. But it's a weapon worth investing in for Cloud as well. And this is what I did most of the damage to the Iron Giant with. He's got a really good Ruinra materia, just helpful for HP and a bit of physical attack. And then make sure you bring the X Ruinra below. Wow, that's really hard to say. And then lastly, I just have the boring old classic Aerith build, just pulled once again for the drip on her. I've got this really nice circle Ruinra on her for the magic attack and HP. Again, you got to bring that X break Ruinra. And then I put the Umbrella as main hand just because it's my highest magic attack weapon for her and I wanted her to do damage. But it's really good for physical defense break as well, along with Zac. And then for heals, the Fairy Tail. You just can't beat it. It's so good. It's definitely worth trying to get one dupe of the 5-star Fairy Tail just because it increases the ability, the healing potential, and it made a noticeable difference for me. So that's pretty much the team. Just quickly on Cloud too, I have the upgraded Shiva ability, which is really nice. So basically that was the run. Iron Giant and the Tower of Cetra, if you put a little bit of thought into each battle and you make sure you read the enemy weaknesses and abilities, you can honestly clear it within 1 to 2 weeks on a free-to-play account. So that's that. I'll catch you guys in another vid.
Shawty been back like the babes, place with it up like the AIDS. I'm in the kitchen, go crazy. I just want me a Mercedes. Pull up, we talking 3 A's.